Today we're talking about the top 5 counter picks for the water element. I plan on doing every element in this series, but we're gonna do it in the collection order. So water first. Number 5, Elucia the water fairy, namely second awakened Elucia. I think Elucia counters way more than people think, and I'm an advocate for always having one runed in the background when you venture into RTA. You can rune Elucia on violent, speed, HP accuracy, or speed, HP. Ultimately, you want Elucia to be taking as many turns as humanly possible, so that way you have the chance to proc into additional crowd control on one of her skills. Now, if you can get some crowd control when it's not her turn too, that's like the ideal situation. So for an offset, we're gonna put her on Revenge. Having a clutch Elucia on Violent Revenge is just perfect for when you see the app icon roll up. I make this joke a lot, but I'm extremely serious about it, so that's why I'll say it again here. Whenever Elucia is showing up to something, Artemiel's not there. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the start of Artemiel getting knocked out of the meta. Poor guy. Elucia has hard crowd control on 2 skills, plus a heal and attack bar boost on skill 2. Like, she's the whole package. Number 4, Tetra the Water Mermaid. It brings me a lot of joy to be able to talk about Tetra in 2024, especially in a world where like Juno reigns supreme for cleansing debuffs and Veramos has gotten buff after buff. Tetra still has a place. And the reason why Tetra's come back into the limelight in RTA is because of this debuff. This is Cleanse Block. What Cleanse Block says is that you cannot cleanse anything except this debuff. Anytime you would cleanse or auto cleanse something, this debuff just gets removed. Tetra's passive is perfect for this because it doesn't cleanse in the standard sense. Rather, it does what's called a soft cleanse, where it reduces the number of turns on debuffs. Now, generally, this is worse than removing a debuff. But when Cleanse Block is in play, like if you're up against a Layla, for example, it's way better because it's not removing any debuffs. It's just reducing the number of turns. So in a way, you have circumvented what that debuff was meant to do. For Tetra, proccing is kind of like an additional turn. Wait, that's exactly what it's like. For Tetra, a proc offers significantly more value than it does for comparable monsters, and that's because it affects the entire team. So, we're gonna put her on Violent. You can rune her similarly to other support units that you have, namely Speed, HP is the name of the game, and for offset, you can go with either Will or a set of Nemesis. Personally, I'm a big fan of Nemesis on her, so that way as people try to deal more damage, she gets closer to her next turn. Number 3, Bolverk the Water Lightning Emperor. One of the professors at the Cal State University of Knowledge Stacks, Bolverk is there to punish people who are just putting up a ton of buffs on their team. Now what's cool about him is that he's actually the first entry on the list that could be built around. Bolverk does see play as a part of snipe comps, but there is also that part of you where if you see someone put a Riley in their pick ban phase, you can pick a Bolverk, and then it's either a situation where they ban it, or you'll just take control of the game and siphon all their HP for yourself and your allies. Look, I love proccing as much as the next guy, but the next guy isn't Bolverk. He's not a big fan of proccing. Bolverk would actually be happier being ruined on this weird amalgamation of offsets. A set of Will and a set of Shield are great on Bolverk, so that way he starts out with multiple buffs at the beginning of the game. For your third offset, you can put him on either a set of Revenge runes, so he has a chance to proc Revenge and steal a buff from someone using his first skill, or you could put him on, say, like a fight set, or a Nemesis set, or a second set of Will, for crying out loud. You have a lot of flexibility in that other offset. Number 2, Josephine, the Water Paladin. Josephine is just the GOAT. She's been around since like 2018, and she's been tearing it up ever since, and in certain respects, she's only gotten better. Her passive says that anytime someone on your team gets crowd controlled, she's gonna cleanse herself, apply a shield to everybody, and counterattack the person who did it. And it has an insanely short cooldown. What makes Josephine so cool nowadays too is that her skill 1 auto crits. She works great on Violent, Speed, Crit Damage, HP. Because she auto crits on skill 1, it's more important that you can load up that crit damage wherever you can find it. So now she's a hybrid support and damage dealer. Recently, Chandra, the Water Beast Monk, got a similar buff so that his first skill auto crits as well. So they're kind of reminiscent of each other. Josephine also stuns, and she has a strip and provoke on skill 2, so you can reverse crowd control people with your counter to crowd control. She's incredible, definitely deserves to be on the list. Let's talk about a quick honorable mention before we get to the number 1 slot. Rigel, the Water Lich. Rigel has a passive that's extremely reminiscent of Meiho Wang. He's immune to crowd control, he's also got skills that can apply slow, and he can defense break people. Good monster, just doesn't see quite as much play as some of the other ones. Although he did get a brief tournament showcase actually. That's kind of cool, good for him. Number 1, Haegang, the Water Art Master. I'm sure so many people saw this coming. The dude at his heart is a counterpick. He exists because Gianna and more exist. And at his heart, he wants to counter monsters that are out to strip the buffs off your team. Whenever they do so, he'll instead cleanse anybody who got a debuff on them and boost attack bar. I've poked fun at this before, but Haegang is extremely easy to rune. You just throw him on a despair set and he just works. Usually it's that simple. Speed HP with accuracy in the substats is one of the best ways to rune a Haegang. For the offset, you can put him on Will, so that way he has something to be removed and then a proc for his passive ensues. To me, that's my personal favorite, but I'd be lying if I said that I've never encountered a Revenge Haegang, because I have in fact encountered Revenge Haegangs, but your results may vary. The dude is so good at his job that people have started first picking him. Does that make him less of a counter pick? I don't know. That's something you guys are going to have to talk about in the comments. All right. Thanks for watching. Later.